All right, welcome back to Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. I have an emergency. I have this cough. I can't get rid of it today. Only thing I have is a Pepsi Wild Cherry. That's going to have to do. But make sure, if you need a roof, make sure you call Ireland Contracting, 1-800-NEW-ROOF, to the best in the business. They not only do roofs, they do gutters, siding, windows, anything you need, 1-800-NEW-ROOF. If you want to give me a call, it's easy. 412-575-2600 is the number. We're going to go out to Jerry out in Hempfield. Jerry, take it away. Hopefully this is a long question because I need a break.
Okay, a short question. Since a few years ago, Roger Goodell was on their television saying that there might be a team that's going to be located in London, since two teams played over there, and the fans really liked it. And it was a topic for a while. And all of a sudden you didn't hear anything. Is this a done deal, closed, a non-issue anymore? Does he think there's going to be something in the future? Do you know anything? Have you heard anything?
I mean, yeah, you keep hearing the rumors out there that they're potentially they want to get the exposure out in London. And one of the teams I know that they were talking about was the Jacksonville Jaguars because their owner owns a soccer team over there. So potentially that could happen. Excuse me. I'm going to take a drink. I got some water. I would imagine so, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, they'd have to add maybe two teams, right? They'd have to figure something out. I think something's going to happen, and you hear these rumors. I mean, Oakland's going to Vegas. They want the exposure in London. Do they add an expansion? Do they move a team there? I mean, I think these are all possibilities that can happen in the future. I haven't seen the latest, but there's always been rumblings. And the one team that everyone talked about was the Jacksonville Jaguars. But they've been pretty good as of late, so I don't know if that's going to happen. But I know they're playing more games over there. You're going to see the Steelers play over there or in Mexico City here in the next couple years. You know, they're going to want to get the Steelers over there. So at some point, I don't know when that'll be, maybe next year. You know, you keep hearing Mexico City, maybe going back to London. But, yeah, I think it's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to be an expansion. I think it just might be a team that moves there maybe. And it would have to be a team that would be close to the East Coast, I think, because you'd have to move a team, maybe like Jacksonville, that's in a division that could play games that it's only a 6-hour flight, because you couldn't. I mean, you'd have to schedule games. They'd have to get creative in scheduling games, because if they're playing the NFC West, they're going to have to maybe try to schedule 2 games in 2 weekends so they could stay over instead of flying across the country. So I think you'll see it at some point. Sorry, let's go out to Brad on the south side. How you doing, Brad?
Hey, how's it going?
It'd be better if I didn't have this cough. Thanks for calling.
I hear you. Allergies. Hey, what do you think of the Steelers this coming year and how their defense is going to hold up? Do you think it'll be like the glory days back with the steel meat curtain and how the team will be holding the line on third down?
I don't think it's going to be the glory days. I don't think you're going to see the glory days with this defense right now, especially without Ryan Shazier in the lineup. But, I mean, I think this defense is going to be a lot better. They shored up the secondary, not only with players, but a really good coach, bringing in Tom Bradley, who was out at UCLA, and they hired him, and working with some of these young guys, drafting Edmonds. You got 2 good cornerbacks right now, Artie Burns and Joe Hayden. You got a guy like Mike Hilton, you know, a couple other younger guys, and you got pretty athletic safeties with Edmonds and Sean Davis, and bringing in Burnett and guys like this. So I think it'll be a pretty good defense all around. I mean, the one thing that has to worry you is you saw what happened to this defense when Shazier got hurt. They need a playmaker, and maybe this Edmonds guy is the playmaker in the middle, because I mean, this defense needs a playmaker. You had Troy Polamalu, then you had Ryan Shazier. Maybe Edmonds is the guy that can kind of replace that playmaking ability, and then you have Vince Williams in the middle with Bostic, and maybe you play more of a you know what is it, like a 3-5, something like that, instead of a 4-3. Maybe you do something like that, and or play some kind of different scheme. Excuse me. So, you know, it's a good question about the defense. But OTAs start on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You're going to see a lot happening over there. Ben Roethlisberger is going to have a chance to meet Mason Rudolph. That'll be a story this week, probably a story on Tuesday when we're over there, having a chance to see maybe a guy like Edmonds work with his first-team defense. If he gets an opportunity to work with the first-team defense, who's going to play those safety positions? What are they going to do with Sean Davis? Who's going to is Edmonds going to move ahead of Burnett because he's a new guy too? Is Bostic your main? Is Bostic the inside linebacker next to Vince Williams? There's a lot of questions on that defense. Also, some questions on the offense too. Is James Washington taking the place of Martavis Bryant, or are they going to put Hunter out there? I mean, what's going to happen in that situation? Or, I mean, is Eli Rogers, are they going to eventually sign this guy, play Washington in the slot, or have him go deep? I'm just interested in how everything's going to be. We'll learn a lot more come Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday during OTAs. Let's head out to the phone lines and go out to John out in Heidelberg. How you doing, John?
Good, Richie. How are you tonight?
Good. Thanks for calling.
I'm just calling to ask you if you think that Ryan Shazier is as important to this defense as Troy was.
Yeah, no question. 100%. I hope he plays football again. He says he's going to play football again. And I agree that he was the most important person to that defense. Look, they got a good front. I mean, you got Hayward, Tuitt, Hargrave. You got a good front. I mean, even if you add Alu in there, you got 4 pretty good defensive linemen. Now you need that playmaker, the guy that can make stuff happen. And, Vince Williams is a solid inside linebacker, but, he allowed Ryan Shazier to do a lot more. And you saw what happened towards the end of the year. It seemed like teams are running all over this defense when Ryan Shazier got hurt. So, yeah, they need a playmaker. And Edmonds is a big guy. They're not going to move him to inside linebacker. That's not going to happen. He's going to be a safety. But maybe this way that the defense is constructed, might give him an opportunity to make more plays. Maybe they will play 3 safeties at times or, 5 defensive backs more. Maybe their base defense will change. Something's going to change. Or maybe Bostic is the guy. He's been hurt. We haven't seen too much from him. I mean, we haven't seen a lot of these guys. So it'll be interesting this week when we see the whole team during these voluntary coaching sessions and, what's going to happen. It's an interesting couple months here. Then they get a month off, and then training camp starts. Training camp's right around the corner, starting at the end of July. So we're only a couple of months away from that. All right, let's go to the phone lines. We got Tyler out in Mount Lebanon. How you doing, Tyler?
I'm good. How are you?
Thanks for calling.
I want to talk about, what do you think the Buckeyes are going to do the rest of the season? You think we'll get above 500, or how do you think the season's going to pan out?
Well, they're above 500 right now, Tyler, and I think I predicted them to be right around 500, and I think that's where they're going to be. Look, they got a tough stretch coming up here. I know we talked about it yesterday. They got St. Louis, Los Angeles, the Cubs. I mean, just a gauntlet coming up, and, that'll be a true test. This team is pretty good at home. They didn't find their offense the last 2 games. They left runners stranded, 13 yesterday. Had an opportunity to tie the game in the 8th inning. Maybe things would have been different if that's the case. You don't put George Contos out there who gives up 2 runs. Well, the defense caused one of those with the error, Jordy Mercer, and then the Diaz threw it out in the outfield when he tried to steal second. So that brought a runner home, and then a home run. So things might have been different if Cervelli could have got a hit because the game would have been tied. I think this is a good team. Look, I'm rooting for them. Like I said before, and like I've said it many times on the show, I still wish they would have spent some money and go out. And I know you don't have to spend money to be good, but I wish they would have got a couple free agents and maybe upgraded certain starting rotation pitchers and maybe the bullpen. I mean, obviously they don't have an 8th inning guy. That would have been a guy that they could have went out and got. Maybe Musgrove is the guy when he comes back, or maybe he goes in the rotation and, Cool or Trevor Williams goes to that position. They got some options, which is good. It's a young team, a young rotation. Clint Hurdle talked about this the other day, that he had a similar rotation in Colorado when they won the World Series, a young team, and I think that's good. Right now, they have a good record. They lost their last 2. It's no reason to panic. They won 8 of 9, 9 of 12. I mean, so you know, they're in good shape right now. So you win tomorrow. You're in Cincinnati. You could take 2 out of 3 there. The Reds aren't that good. And then we got to see what kind of team they are. I think that stretch of games between St. Louis, the Cubs, and Los Angeles, that's going to be a good barometer where this team is right now. All right. I'm going to get more water. Give me a call, 412-575-2600 is the number, or you can send me a tweet. Back in a couple minutes.